Hello there, Kyle Katarn here. Ahsoka Season 2. We have a trailer. Let's do it!
Tell me, Ahsoka. What troubles you?
What the hell is that? Had like a...
I'm
in the
always
middle?
walking by your side.
Citizens of the glorious empire, I have returned. I took an oath to protect the empire. I therefore declare war on the Rebel Alliance.
On the Rebel Alliance. Whoa! Okay.
What did you see? More.
We're in more danger than I thought.
Hidden temple.
Balin claimed to have knowledge of a power.
Master!
One that could end wars.
He looks good. Chopper! Okay, Zeb and Ezra. Good, good,
A
good.
long time ago, I walked away from the Jedi.
This is your trial, Ahsoka. Take your time to decide.
Oh, the music's
You
good
a
too.
Jedi. Or not.
Hell yeah. No, it looks good. It looks really good. It looks like there's a lot of, building on what happened last season, and I feel like they've corrected a couple things that weren't quite right about last season too. Like Ahsoka looks a little better. I feel like they redesigned the Montrals and the Leku a little bit. Like, does her head shape? It's like the silhouette feels a little bit closer to the animation. Also, I noticed that Hera's contacts are fixed as well. Hera looks a little bit better this time around. Yeah, wow, that was a lot. That was a lot right there. I'm really glad that Ezra and Zeb, we're gonna get that as a full moment, because Zeb was fully missing from season 1 of Ahsoka. Like, he really should have been there. He was busy doing Mando and Grogu stuff, though, turns out. We're getting a lot more Night Sister and Dathomir action this season, it looks like, and that makes me very happy because I like the Night Sisters. I am bummed that Morgan Elsbeth's not going to be around. She was a really cool character. I feel like they wasted her. They used her up too quick, She could have been leading this charge of Dathomir. I feel like her character earned that, and then got a rough deal here. Balin Skull, Rory McCann, he looks good. It's our first shot of him on camera here. I did get to see him, a photo of him way back last year. I was actually in that group of people, the first people to get to see that photo in Star Wars Celebration Japan in the crowd. At the Ahsoka panel, he put the photo up. They talked about Rory for a minute, and yeah, I'm confident. I'm confident that he's got the acting chops. You know that he does. I feel like he's facing the biggest challenge out of anyone in the cast, though, because in my opinion, and I think in a lot of people's opinion, Ray Stevenson was the best acting performance in all of season 1. So that's big shoes to fill. Yeah, 3 years is a long time to wait. 3 years is a long time to wait for a season of TV, and I get that it's a big epic production and these things happen, but it's becoming the norm. Like, across the board, TV shows are taking way too long to give you a follow-up on season 2. And I should be rewatching these shows because I love them, not because I need to remember what just happened ahead of a thing. Like, too much time is passing, in my opinion. Maybe I'm just impatient, but like 3 years is a long time to make us wait. In general, this trailer does not really showcase any of the acting performances. We don't really have enough. None of these moments are quite long enough to really show us what they're bringing to the table. But, I think it's going to be an improvement on season 1. All right, let's do this. Let's watch this again. I got to break it down proper. Too much stuff happened in that trailer, so we're going to do this again.
Tell me, Ahsoka.
All right, U-Wings and New Republic forces fighting against Thrawn on Dathomir. It's going to be our first theater of this war. Young Ahsoka returning. We've got the Phase 1 clone. I don't recognize this conflict from the Clone Wars, like where they are. It's clearly a memory. I do recognize those sweet winter outfits that they're both wearing, though. Hell yes. Okay, so what am I looking at here? The first thing that I can think of is the Design an Alien contest from Galaxy Magazine back in like the 90s. I don't know if anyone even remembers that, but they had a contest where you could enter in, like, design your own alien and submit it. And one of them had a rider, and he has a lightsaber that looks just like that. He's got like the middle section open. It's an absolutely fuck-ass design. Like, how does that work? When you turn it off, like, do they just float? Like, how do they stay the right space apart? But I don't even, like, that's such a deep cut. I'm sure that's not the only time we've seen this lightsaber, but that's what comes to my mind immediately. Yeah, it was like 1995. This dude submitted an alien. It was called like the U-Beast, like Thornback Dragon or something. And it wasn't even about the dude or the lightsaber. It was the beast. And the rider just happened to be holding one of these. And he won. He won the contest, so they published it, and they published his little description, his little blurb description of the creature, and it's canon, because all the winners of the contest, like Leland Shee confirmed it in an interview, like those are all canon. So it's never been used or referenced, but it's real. It's part of the fabric now, and I love that. But what the hell is this? If this is a deep cut, then props to Filoni. Otherwise, like I don't know what I'm looking at. The dude himself, though, like, he almost looks like he could be like a Bafashi, which are from Star Wars Tales and technically Heir to the Empire, but they're just referenced because they're like a cult of dark Jedi, and they are described as near humans with dark facial markings. So like that would be kind of in the area where Filoni does his drawing from for this sort of stuff. We've never had a Bafashi on screen before. We've had him in comics, and I think they've even been brought back into canon in the High Republic. I'm behind on my High Republic comics, but yeah, if that's a Bafashi holding a lightsaber from the Design an Alien contest in 1995, like, huh. Yeah, they look great in these outfits, though. That's one thing that I really like about the fact that we get these flashbacks, is getting to see live action versions of some of the coolest Clone Wars designs of these characters. Also, I'm just a sucker for winter gear. If you've ever seen me play an MMO, as soon as I'm going to a snowy location, I'm like, all right, you guys, we've got to spend 30 minutes building an outfit. Cutting logs.
I'm always walking by your side.
I'm always walking by your side. So, like, yeah, maybe that's true, but, like, why are we just suddenly seeing you all the time now? Is it because the connection was, like, reestablished in the World Between Worlds, and now even though she's left the World Between Worlds, she still is able to, like, see him everywhere? Because Obi-Wan was seeing Anakin everywhere in Kenobi, but that was because he was haunted by him. That wasn't really Anakin. That was a figment. That was his own guilt. This is different. And so I'm wondering, like, clearly there's more flashbacks coming, so we're going to have full-blown, like, we're going to commune with Anakin again. Are we going back to the World Between Worlds? Is Ahsoka going to get injured again? Because that's how it happened last time. It was like a near-death experience, and she woke up there. So I'm wondering, like, what's going to be the vehicle for them being able to continue to talk here in Season 2?
Citizens of the glorious Empire, I have returned.
Yes. Okay, so Thrawn is on the bridge over Dathomir. Invasion of Dathomir? Is that how we're starting off? Would make a lot of sense. Like, we're seeing a lot of action, like, in the orbit of Dathomir and on the ground in this trailer. So I think it's going to be the main set piece for the season. Also, am I seeing things, or is that Governor Price, or at least her long lost sister, standing off to the corner? She definitely died at the end of Rebels, but I don't know. Maybe it was just a popular Imperial haircut.
I took an oath to protect the
Hera looks
Empire.
improved. They've done better contacts with her this season. You can tell that straight away. Something about her just, like, has always felt a little bit off to me, and I've never been able to really quantify what that is, and so I can't, level that as a valid criticism, because I don't even know what's wrong with it. But I don't know. I don't know. Something about seeing her in Rebels in animation and then seeing the live action counterpart, there's something missing, and I can't quite put my finger on what it is. And we got Senator Ziono back in the fold again. He was a good foil for Hera last season. I feel like he's going to be, eating some humble pie with the state of the galaxy now after everything he said, the big fuss he made.
I therefore declare war on the Rebel Alliance.
God, it's such a good line for so many reasons, that he declares war on the Rebel Alliance specifically, not the New Republic. I really love that line because it simultaneously makes him seem like, unrelenting and unyielding, which makes him a very formidable foe, but also like out of touch and a relic of the past, of a bygone era, which is fantastic because both of those things are true, Like, give it up, old man. You're holding on to something that is already lost. Jumping back to this shot of Thrawn in his ready room, This is just a great shot. I love it. It really reminds me of this one specific panel from Dark Empire, but also it just has like a real Timothy Zahn energy to it, which I understand is an ironic thing to say because Timothy Zahn is not involved in this production in any way, which is kind of a bummer. And I will say that like Thrawn's characterization in like the new canon novels, which Zahn has written, like does take him in a certain direction, and it makes you wonder like why is he being so gung ho about the Imperial Remnant? Shouldn't his focus be on the Chiss ascendancy right now? I'm able to reconcile that though because like he's still Thrawn, and yes, he like those are his ultimate goals. But like he got pretty embarrassed by Ezra at all, and so he's gonna want to get some sort of payback for that. So I can totally see revenge, you know, fueling him through this campaign. You know, he's like the Chiss can wait. I got to get my own back, and then I'll get back on board with my actual agenda here. The Ysilamari statues over his shoulder, like that's awesome. I hope they make that prop someday so I can have one in my room. But I noticed that they don't really resemble the Ysilamari in Rebels that much. They kind of look closer to their Legends counterpart, the actual Ysilamari. Ysilamari basically have this property that negates the Force, and so Thrawn keeps them around as like an anti-Jedi protection device. Also, that's some nice continuity. They're definitely using the same UI, the hologram here showing the fleet. That's from Star Wars Squadrons. It's like straight from Star Wars Squadrons, which is set during the same time period, which is very, very cool. Also makes me kind of hopeful that, like, you know, we're going to get a major fleet battle in this show. It's been promised to us. We know that's happening. It's in the trailer. We also know this is taking place basically concurrent with Star Wars Squadrons. It's like a little bit afterwards. So please show me a Starhawk. Let's get a live action Starhawk in the battle. Like, I'll be so happy if we can finally see one on screen. And then Senator Ziono over here seems to have lost his signature smug expression. I feel like it was probably pretty awkward for him when Thrawn sent his holo message out. God, I wish I could have seen his face. Hopefully we actually get that scene in the show, because I'd love to see his expression finding out that news. And I hope Hera's in the room too. Hera and Mon Mothma deserve to be there for that. Yes, okay, these TIE bombers, modified to be dropping these payloads, which turn out to be like drop pods. That's so cool. One of my favorite things that they do in Star Wars is like these drop pod assaults. We see them a lot in the Clone Wars and in Rebels. My favorite was the amphibious assault pods that they use on Kamino, the big squid-looking swimming ones. I thought it was really cool that they actually added those to one of the playable maps in Battlefront 2. Love it. Let's go. Night Sisters galore. And then back to Dathomir.
What did you see? Or
That was not the... I'm trying hard not to be bothered by the line delivery here, but what did you see? More. Like, sound less interested, Ahsoka. Jesus Christ. I will be as charitable as I possibly can when it comes to the dialogue and the line delivery in this show, but I expect improvements from season 1. They're not really giving us a lot to go on in terms of, like, what to expect, but if this is Ahsoka's most trailer-worthy dialogue, oh boy. B-Wings! Oh my god, yes! Let's go with the fleet battle. See, this is what I'm here for. This is what I'm here for right now. We got the New Republic Defenders in here. We got a CR-90, Blockade Runner, MC-80s. That's a Nebulon B frigate down there. Architens, cruisers. Yeah, there's so much happening. And I'm pretty sure, I'm going to back up to the shot before this, where the B-Wings are strafing along the... Yeah, that's the Chimera. That's not just a Star Destroyer, that's his flagship. Look, you can see the hyperspace docking ring around the side. That's awesome. First of all, I love seeing B-Wings in action. It's like one of the coolest things. But also, why, Thrawn? Why would you allow B-Wings to get this close to your flagship? I'm wondering if this is a diversionary tactic of some kind. If maybe, you know, Thrawn's trying to pull their attention to the flagship while he has a secondary force doing something even worse. He's a master tactician, and I really hope we finally get that showcased. You know, we really need to see him putting the Rebels in the back foot for, like, the whole season. God, look, he's got me calling them the Rebels again. Like, come on, the New Republic, please. Also, let me go back even further. Tell me that's not a giant cannon on the front of the Chimera. Cool, cool. We've got ourselves a super weapon. That's how they're going to do it. That's how they're going to do it. We're not building a Death Star this time around. We're just souping up the Chimera, using all of the extra hyperspace rings from the SSDs that he used to give it the juice to get to Peridia. Now that they're back, they don't need to jump to Peridia again, so they're just going to repurpose all of that incredible power into a weapon. Of course they are. That makes perfect sense. Okay, I'll give it to him. I'll give it to him. It's refreshing to see a super weapon show up in a way that isn't super repetitive. Like, We've kind of done this a little bit in Rise of Skywalker with the planet killer guns on the Star Destroyers, but this is a unique enough circumstance. They like worked hard to build this. There was a construction phase. It's been plot relevant the whole time. So I'll allow it. Like this is a super weapon I can get behind, I think.
More and more danger than I thought.
Okay. Sabine and Ahsoka are gonna find a temple, sure.
Balin claimed to have knowledge of a power.
Balin looks good. He does. Rory McCann, I think, is gonna pull it off. And I think they've been clever to take advantage of like the slightest ever time skip, and his hair and his beard have really grown out to the point where it like partially obscures his face just enough that like if you're not paying attention, could be the same actor, you know? Like I said before, though, he's got the biggest shoes to fill, in my opinion, because I think Ray Stevenson was the standout performance, acting-wise. Rory's up to the task, though. The dude can act very well, so I'm optimistic. I'm looking forward to seeing what he does. And also, Shin is chasing after him, saying, "Master, Master." He's straight up ditched her last season. So are they reuniting and teaming back up, or is she like chasing him down for revenge? Like what's the dynamic here, I wonder? Because I think this is the only shot of the two of them that we have, besides him turning his saber on and then her looking really scared. Like, is he threatening her? I wonder if he's wondering the same thing I am. He's like, is she trying to team back up with me, or does she want revenge because I ditched her? I think they are going to team back up, but I don't know how this interaction's going to go. Like, are they on good terms right away?
Could end wars.
Okay, Ahsoka and Sabine inside this temple right here, and it has distinctly like world between worlds imagery and aesthetic in here too. Could this temple be their way home? Like somehow this temple can be used as an access point to get back to the world between worlds, and through that they can use those portals that we've seen before to get back to their own galaxy? Because I can't really think of another way for them to get home. Like it's got to be through this, and so she's going to commune with Anakin, find the key to it. It's going to unlock the temple. Yeah, that seems likely to me. Ugh, look at that. Do you see that right there? That is a New Republic Pelta-class starship. Never thought I'd see the day. A Pelta-class, a hammerhead from KOTOR in the service of the New Republic. Man, when eras collide, it can be very, very cool. And we got the E-Wings. We got the E-Wings going by. I knew they didn't bring E-Wings in last season just to be like traffic cops. Like we were going to actually see some action eventually. So I'm glad we're finally getting that. Also, big fan of the Defender class for the New Republic. Like I like that that's become the new workhorse of their fleet, it seems like. Chopper, my boy. And Zeb and Ezra. Okay. Ezra meeting Zeb is going to be great. It's pretty hard to fuck that up, I think. It's going to be Ezra meeting Jason that will be very important, and I'm curious how they're going to characterize the two of them, how the interaction's going to go. Like, nervous is the wrong word, but I'm like, there's some future storytelling writing on how this sort of goes. I feel like this will be our first look into Jason as a character. Like the way he interacts with Ezra is going to tell us a lot about what their plans are for this kid moving forward. So we'll see. We'll see. And then we got Ezra piloting. He's in an A-Wing alongside a bunch of... Okay, actually, it took me a second to notice the TIE fighters streaking by. So he's joining the battle. He's joining the battle alongside two E-Wings. And off we go. Now, the fleet battle looks like it's going to be totally sick. And we were told a little bit about it at Celebration at the panel. One thing that was emphasized was Admiral Akbar making moves. And that Akbar will be going toe-to-toe with Thrawn. And that we're going to finally get some of Akbar's prowess showcased as well. I noticed Akbar is nowhere in this trailer, though. So I'm like, are they saving that as sort of a treat? Or is his part actually going to be smaller than they talked about after the editing was done? Or I don't know. We better get some Akbar, though, because, like, Admiral Akbar, I think, really deserves his flowers, especially after how he was treated in The Last Jedi. His death was very unceremonious. So if we could see him get some glory here, I think that would go a long way. Go a long way for my little Admiral Akbar action figure that's been sitting on my desk since I was, like, 17.
A long time ago, I walked away from the Jedi.
This is your...
Yes. Okay. Look at that. Look at Captain Ezra Bridger right here of the New Republic leading his squad. And here he is, boots on the ground on Dathomir. I'm thinking this must be the first episode. Dathomir, I think it's going to start with the invasion of Dathomir. We're going to see that hollow message. New Republic's going to send reinforcements. and Ezra's going to be one of the first groups to arrive, and then we're going to see the massive ground war. And I'm thinking the Empire is going to take Dathomir. I think they're going to have to retreat. And then it's going to culminate in the giant space battle at the end where they're trying to take down the Chimera and the super weapon. Yeah, this is going to be a big season. There's going to be a lot happening here. Ezra fighting against Enoch with the blades right here. I dig it. Also, it's interesting to note that Enoch has been given like a Night Sister imbued like weapon, a magic weapon. And again, makes me wish that Morgan Elsbeth was still around, man. Like, I feel like they didn't need to kill her so fast. And now you've given Captain Enoch a weapon. You've made him your new champion. Like, he's not even from Dathomir. But maybe they've mass-produced these things now, and a bunch of people have them. I don't know. It also feels like a missed opportunity to introduce a new Dathomir, like another Night Sister character to be their champion, or even like an Iridonian Zabrak. Like, that would be pretty cool. But I mean, Enoch didn't get to do much, so you know, I can support working with the characters that you have and fleshing them out instead of just adding and adding and adding to the cast, because that can be a problem too. Either way, this fight looks promising. I'm ready to see Ezra pull some serious moves here. Hu Yang, what are you doing, Hu Yang? You're General Grievous up in here. Man, his practical fights last season were awesome. I love that it was all puppetry. Just, God, it's too funny. The running joke with Hu Yang being like a big practical puppet, the way they'll like place him under stuff or around stuff and then just like act like, oh yeah, he totally climbed under there himself. Like when he's laying on his back, like working on the underneath of the control console, like repairing it. And the notion is that he like climbed under there. Like, it's so funny because this is so clearly like a robot model that's just been placed on the ground, but we all just go with it. I love it. It's comedy. So he's fighting Shin. He's fighting Shin Hati here. And Shin is definitely not going to die. I feel like in terms of skill, Hu Yang has her beat. But in terms of plot armor, Shin takes the win. So I'm nervous. Hopefully she disables him and does not destroy him. I guess it's not the end of the world if he gets destroyed because he's a droid. He can be rebuilt. But still, Hu Yang's really old. He's been through enough. Leave him alone, you know? Also, not for nothing, but they're definitely just like murdering the Noti in the background there. They're just killing the fuck out of them. So that's that's the lot. Ooh. Damn, look at this last fleet shot right here of the Ghost flying through. This battle is not going well for the New Republic. We've got an MC-80 on fire right here. A New Republic Defender just in pieces back there. More debris down here. I'm guessing this is not an Imperial explosion down here. Yeah, this... Just from this shot right here, it's looking like a rout. Like, this is bad. Thrawn is kicking ass. It could be deceptive. This could, you know, there's always more to the story. But just looking at this shot, it looks like we're going to be in some dire straits for at least part of this encounter. Which I like, you know? Let's get some actual conflict, some actual stakes to make it feel grounded and real instead of just, oh, the heroes always win, you know? Like, that's why Empire Strikes Back is so good.
You Jedi or not?
Yeah, no, this is going to be fun. This is going to be fun. I'm not really compelled by Ahsoka's whole "Are you a Jedi or not?" plotline so far. It feels like it's just going in circles, like we've been doing this with this character for so long. And also, that kind of speaks to what I was saying about some of the dialogue and having an issue with that. Is like, you know, last season our crux was like live or die, and now it's "Are you a Jedi or not?" It's like these could be slightly more nuanced and complex questions that we're posing here. But we're like really boiling it down to like the basic building blocks, and I get why, but I feel like there's a little bit more room for poetry in there, you know? But overall, like, yeah, no, this looks good. This looks good. I can't wait. I'll definitely be posting reactions with Bendu right here on the channel, so you can stay tuned for that. January 20th. It's going to come sooner than you think. It's been 3 years. We can wait a few more months. Cool. Well, thanks for watching, everybody. I hope you enjoyed my reaction and breakdown to the Ahsoka Season 2 trailer. Yeah, this looks like it's going to be a really big season. A lot is going to happen. It's going to be very impactful. So I'm very excited for it. So thanks again. And as always, may the Force be with you.